Welcome to the South Texas Business Podcast, hosted by SoTx Board Chair Connie Gonzalez, recorded live before a studio audience at Brooks.
I think most of y'all, who's off tomorrow? Who's taking off an extended time period? I am too. Who's off? Everyone's off Monday? Good. Okay, it's almost here. We're almost there. So thank you all so much for being here this afternoon. I am Connie Gonzalez. I have the pleasure of serving as the SoTx chairwoman and also as the Chief Strategy Officer for Brooks. So thank you for supporting this organization as we continue to grow and as we just recently rebranded. And so if you don't know, South Texas Business Partnership, formerly the South San Antonio Chamber of Commerce, is now focused and really trying to begin those conversations and change the narrative and focus on the entire South Texas region, recognizing that San Antonio, Corpus Christi, Del Rio, Laredo, and beyond have many similarities. And it's about darn time that we start focusing on what that development looks like in the future. And so we talk a lot about the city to the north of us, some know as Austin. We talk about Bernie, Bulverde. Well, it's about time that we start talking about this corridor of 37. And so that's what we're focused on, which leads us to today's topic of All Roads Lead South, auto manufacturing. And so we're going to kick off. We're going to have two different presentations, then we'll have some time for some panel questions. Our first speaker, actually both of our speakers today are Kentucky natives. I was saying that one of my bucket list items is to go to the Kentucky Derby, and then they just rubbed it in my face that they just came back from the Kentucky Derby, and we're both there together. So our first speaker today is Stephen Mudd. He represents Navistar. He has been a manufacturing executive with 20 plus years experience. As I mentioned, he came from Kentucky. He has been in Texas and worked in McKinney for a little while. He did graduate from Northwood University with the Bachelor of Business Administration, and it's okay because we're all friends. He also worked with Ford Motor Company, learned a lot, which essentially led him to Navistar and opening this brand new plant right here in San Antonio. And so without further ado, please help me welcome Stephen to provide a presentation on Navistar.
Thank you. All right, thank you. Got the clicker. Hold on one second. All right. I didn't get clicker directions. All right, so thank you for the introduction. A little bit about myself. 22 years of manufacturing experience. My time at Ford Motor Company, 10 years on the assembly line. As she mentioned, got my degree as a working adult. Worked for Ingersoll Rand for a couple of years building commercial air conditioners. And then I worked for the competitor, PACCAR, for the 10 years after that. Wound up getting my master's degree as a working adult as well, and kept my eye on this opportunity in San Antonio with Navistar, and joined the Navistar team in October of last year. So who is Navistar? Navistar is a leading North American truck and bus manufacturer with a 16% market share for 2020. For international trucks and IC school buses. The headquarters is in Lisle, Illinois. We've got just over 12,000 employees in North America, largest dealer network in North America, and one of the largest commercial parts distribution networks in North America. Long history. We've got a long history with Navistar and McCormick Harvesting Company and International Harvester. It's actually 191 years of history with this company. It's pretty significant. 71 years, the McCormick Harvesting Machine Company, that was basically the first reaper invented to harvest grain. That was 71 years. Then 82 years is International Harvester, agricultural and construction equipment, automobiles, commercial vehicles. And then Navistar came in 36 years ago, primarily class 6 through 8 commercial vehicles. So this is a picture of some of the early stages of construction in spring of 2021. Here you can see the facility in its early stages, and also you can see it's sequenced between Mitchell Lake and Highway 281 South. And so this is what it looks like today. We got a few more trucks in the parking lot now. We're about 20% capacity with our ramp plan. We'll be at full production at 52 trucks a day come mid-July, end of July. This was approximately about a $300 million investment Navistar did on this site right here. Opportunities for 600 jobs here on this site, 500, hourly team members or team leads coming in. You don't need manufacturing experience. We'll teach you how to build trucks. I think that's the easy part. And so there's a lot of opportunity for people with good paying jobs and careers at this site.
Hello, and welcome to San Antonio. My name's Chris Pellico, Program Manager of the San Antonio Project. In a little over 14 months, we will be welcoming more than 600 San Antonians to this very property. Currently, we're in the process of designing and soon to be building Navistar's new benchmark commercial truck manufacturing facility. This plant will be capable of producing Class 6 through 8 commercial and electric vehicles. We are very excited to call San Antonio our new home, and we look forward to seeing all of you here very soon.
What's the mantra today? Is safety, safety, safety. I don't expect speed records. I don't expect you to understand everything that you see for the first time. Safety, safety, safety.
You're building history here, and your hands are building that truck, beginning the history of Navistar in San Antonio.
When I arrived boots on the ground here to San Antonio, there were only 3 pieces of steel sticking up out of the ground. So to see the transformation from those 3 pieces of steel to what we have now, it's beginning to be a rewarding journey.
As we prepared the San Antonio plant, we went around to all of the other plants and set baselines on picking the best processes, the best sequences, and the best way to put the truck together for the safest, most highest quality, most repeatable processes.
Coming to work here every day means taking the best of internal and external industry expertise and seeing it happen for Navistar. The goal here is to do it differently and to be the benchmark for Navistar manufacturing moving forward.
I think everybody's excited about what's going on. My team members are actually watching how our stuff goes together with that particular chassis. So I think everybody's really excited to get that first one taken off and then going back and looking to see what we can do better in the future.
Health and safety is extremely important at the Navistar San Antonio plant for several reasons. First, our core beliefs start with safely home every day. We're creating a culture of caring and of safe attitudes, and in order to do that, we need everyone's participation.
Navistar cares for their employees, and they're number one with their safety.
One of the great things about Navistar is that there's room to grow, so you have a lot of potential moving up in this company.
I'm excited, my team members are excited, my management team, their excitement kind of filters down to us, so we're all ready to get building. We want to build some trucks.
Me siento contento de ser parte del equipo de SoTx Navistar y formar parte del primer camión que estamos construyendo.
Being a part of a new team at a new plant and facility is, to me, it's super exciting because even though there's a ton of challenges and obstacles along the way, the sense of accomplishment you feel each day as you get objectives done and as you grow closer in a team, that you just can't beat something like that.
I'm very proud to have been a part of this project, to bring this together. The biggest project of my career, and it's very, very humbling, very honoring to be part of it.
Very excited. There's a lot of construction going on and the good thing happening in San Antonio, Texas. If you are looking for a new career, come build a truck with us at SoTx Navistar San Antonio.
Being part of the team, building the first truck, it's a great experience, and it's gonna be, on the road for somebody to drive, and they're gonna enjoy it as much as we enjoyed building it.
A little over 14 months ago, we told all of you that we would be right here launching our first truck. It is with great honor that I turn this plant over to Mr. Rod Spencer, Plant Director for the Navistar San Antonio plant. Rod, congratulations.
Thank you, Chris. Today, January 25th, 2022, great day. first MV truck, first truck off the line in San Antonio plant. Very exciting day. A lot of gratitude to folks at Navistar, the San Antonio team, our supply partners, our design partners, and of course the city of San Antonio, the Bexar County, and the great state of Texas. Again, huge day for Navistar, huge day for San Antonio. Thanks to all the people who put time and effort into making this possible.
Navistar, Navistar, STX!
All right. One thing that really resonated with me, I'm an employee first, person, starting from working on an assembly line to be able to get in a position to where you can make people's lives and jobs better. You see the pride in the people that were speaking in that video, and that's what really keeps me going each and every day. It's the people. A little bit about the Navistar San Antonio factory. We're building, leading, commercial vehicles, to meet the demand of the market, class 6 through 8. We're able to run battery electric vehicles down the same assembly line. We're incorporating, the latest manufacturing 4.0 principles. It's a digital factory. We have connected machinery, robust lean manufacturing process, and cloud analytics. So what does that mean in summary? It's a paperless factory. I've never been a part of a manufacturing plant that was paperless. One thing to note was the Traton merger that happened at the beginning of last year. So part of the Traton Navistar joins the Scania, the MAN Truck, and Volkswagen Group, and so that makes one of the world's largest truck manufacturers, and Navistar allows Traton to gain instant presence in North America. So some other facts about the site. It's sitting on 428 acres. We got 5 different buildings out there. You got general assembly, paint, body, and logistics center. Little facts at the bottom of the amount of yards of concrete and steel and electric conduit that went through that. One of the most important things is, we've got a workforce of people within 30 miles. There's 80,000 employees that have the opportunity to come join Navistar. This was our first picture on January the 25th. We were a lot bigger than that now. We're about times 4 the amount of people that had their hands on that first truck. And then a really great date, March 23rd. That was the official, opening of the plant. One date that I'll never forget, not only because of that, because it was my birthday as well. So that was a great birthday. Another thing to note, the footprint of where we're at right there. We mentioned, the headquarters being in Lowell. We have a truck plant in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and then the plant in San Antonio. And then the other manufacturing plant is the plant in Escobedo. We also have a facility in New Carlisle, Indiana. It's the proving grounds. And then also another truck plant in Springfield, Ohio. And then an engine manufacturing plant in Alabama, and then one in Brazil as well. So what does that mean for the area? I mean, the future of Navistar between the Escobedo plant and San Antonio is going to be the future of what Navistar is trying to do in the next 5, 10, 15, 25 years. We've got room to expand. 428 acres is a lot. We have the ability to duplicate that plant as the demand goes, and create a lot of jobs for the community. Right now, it's about 600 employees, and we'll double that when we launch second shift. One thing to note is the Advanced Technology Center as well. It's another property. Navistar bought it in 2021. Primary focus is R&D. Also, product return center is there, and the truck specialty center, and then some of our outbound finished goods out from our plant go from ATC. It's 150 acres. There's still about 40-some acres that are undeveloped, and it's got about 150 people on site right now at the Advanced Technology Center. It's about 8 miles from the plant. Real quick, because it looks like I'm running out of time. Economic development, 500 entry-level manufacturing production jobs, paid training, great wages, work-life balance, and also 100 salary employees as well. Like I said, you don't need manufacturing experience. We'll teach you how to build trucks. People and culture, or human resources. And the STX manufacturing plant, San Antonio manufacturing plant, is committed to empowering our employees. I've got a few stats, if I can find them, of what our employee workforce looks like. I mean, 25% are female at Navistar, and approximately 75% are Hispanic at Navistar. That makes up a big part of our diversity that we have there at the plant. We have people from all over. And then last thing I want to lead on, these are our 8 beliefs that are posted all through the plant that we try to live by each and every day. These are ingrained in the culture that we're trying to build at Navistar. And safely home every day, the number one, that's the most important thing that we're pushing at the plant is safety. Because if you address those issues, everything else will come. Just a little bit over, sorry.
So while Navistar represents the newest investment in the manufacturing industry when it comes to San Antonio, Suzanne and Toyota represent the very first believers, I'll say, within this region. Susann Kazunas is the VP of Manufacturing at Toyota Motor Manufacturing, Texas. She began her career with Toyota, an awesome thing to see that she really grew within the ranks, and now she's been able to achieve all that she has leading up till now. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm surrounded by Kentucky up here on the stage. She was hired in manufacturing in 1998, and in 2012, she transferred to a production engineering role where she oversaw North American stamping activities related to new model and manufacturing improvement initiatives. Suzanne was also recognized as a 40 under 40 emerging leader by Automotive News in 2014, and last but certainly not least, received a Women in Manufacturing STEP Award from the Manufacturing Institute in 2015. Please help me welcome Susanne Kazunas.
So thank you all, and it's a pleasure to be here. I'm going to start with my safety commitment. We have this thing we do at Toyota where when we're starting a meeting, we always start with our safety commitment. And my safety commitment is to create a work environment that empowers our team to find and fix problems. Toyota, Texas, TMMTX, we are really proud to be here in San Antonio. We've spent and invested $3.1 billion since 2003 when we first kicked off this facility here. We have a footprint for ourselves and with our on-site suppliers of near 5 million square feet. And right now, our capacity, we're able to produce 208,000 trucks per year. Toyota in Texas, for those that don't know, our headquarters, our North America headquarters is in Plano, Texas. And then, of course, we have a very strong dealership footprint with GST, which is based in Houston. And the San Antonio plant here employs over 3,700 members, with our on-site suppliers employing 5,600 team members. Today, though, I really want to focus some of our presentation rather than on our products. I really wanted to talk about some of the challenges we're seeing and what we're doing in regard to workforce development. So starting point is really manufacturing. What does manufacturing look like in Texas? And this slide really shows that manufacturing in Texas is incredibly strong. There are over 880,000 manufacturing jobs in the state. And that ranges from anything from chemical production to automotive manufacturing, like the two of us sitting up here right now. But if you look at San Antonio in the region surrounding San Antonio, really we're a little under where we should be for a city this size. This particular survey was done by the Regional Economic Partnership, and it showed that at 51,000 manufacturing jobs in San Antonio, and this is 2022, versus most cities our size are around 90,000. And the reason that's important is because it means that we have a smaller network of talent to pull from. And so we've got to find another way to get talent into manufacturing because as we expand, we're going to have some hefty competition. But I want to make clear that from our perspective, that's a good thing. The more manufacturers who come to this area, the more we can attract that talent, and the more we can work to develop that with our local partners. A little bit more about what is our workforce. So at the plant here at TMMTX, again, we employ about 3,700 people, and the majority of those are production team members. They do assembly, machine operation, quality inspection. Another 9% are skilled tradespeople. And the rest of our employees are in engineering and administration. And for today, I really want to talk about what we're doing with production team members and our skilled trade workforce. There's no doubt everybody in this room can feel how tight the labor market is. And so we're feeling that too at TMMTX. And recently, we just announced that one of the things we're doing to try to attract our talent and to retain our talent is that we are going to a direct hire program at TMMTX. Historically, we've used a variable workforce and then converted to Toyota. Starting July 4th, we will be directly hiring members into our facility into what we're calling the Toyota Track program. And we feel like that this is really going to attract talent and let our new members know how committed we are. Skilled workforce, though, is another story. This is a national problem, and if you haven't heard, the nation has a gap of 600,000 skilled tradespeople right now. There are that many open jobs that can't be filled because we don't have qualified talent that's out there. So this is really has been a focus of Toyota regionally and for TMMTX for a very long time. And we think it's a long game. It's not something that's going to be fixed overnight. If you look at this particular slide, and maybe a little hard to see in the back, but this was a survey that was done by Deloitte and the Manufacturing Institute, and it showed that in 2022, only 40% of the respondents, which was up quite a bit from 27% from 2017, but only 40% said they would encourage their child or other youth to pursue a career in manufacturing. And that's what we have to turn around, because manufacturing's fun. I've been doing this since I was 19, and it is a really fun and exciting job to go to every day. So for TMMTX, we believe that it's all about partnerships. And we have what we call our backyard strategy, which is how we are investing in our local schools along with the colleges, how we're looking at partnerships with SA Works, with SAMA, with other organizations who are out there trying to help us teach about just how exciting and rewarding a career in manufacturing can be. And then also STEM programs. STEM programs are just a fabulous way to reach out to youth and to the community. I'm going to give a shout out. One of those STEM programs is right here with the South Texas Business Partnership, and that's the ACE Race. This is an awesome activity, and those students get a hands-on experience where they're able to build cars and to have the fun of racing them, and then ultimately they're getting an introduction to a lot more than just math and science, but they're getting to see what that means real time. And this is a shameless plug, but for those of you who are in manufacturing, who are in STEM, if you have the opportunity, please join us in this effort. That's something that we're hearing from the Workforce Development Committee, is that the schools are looking for folks from industry that can come in and help with these programs, so there's a lot of opportunity for all of us to contribute here. And then the next thing we're doing is really looking at how we can use Texas Fame. And for those of you who are not familiar with Texas Fame, this is a workforce development program that allows the students to work for 3 days and go to school for 2 days. It's partnered through Alamo Colleges. Actually, St. Philip's is where the students go. There are 15 companies in San Antonio who are part of Texas Fame. And this ultimately allows these members to graduate with an advanced manufacturing technician degree. And for Toyota, 33% of our skilled trades members are coming through this program. So if you are in manufacturing or in industry, and this is something that's an area of focus for you, Mary Batch, stand up, Mary. Mary Batch is, she's one of our managers at Toyota Texas, but she serves on the board for Texas Fame. So if any of you want to join and become a partner in Texas Fame, see Mary after we're done here. We also believe that we have to partner with other organizations, and I want to give a shout out here first to San Antonio Works. Recently, San Antonio Works kicked off a program. Of course, you've heard about Ready to Work that they're involved in, but also through the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, they are kicking off a talent pipeline management program that is has a manufacturing collaborative. We had the kickoff last week. There were 7 companies. Is that right, Christopher? 9 companies that participated. And the key point of this is if we can collaborate and help gather the data of what are the positions, what are the skills, what are the job opportunities that are out there, then SA Works can help us try to make sure that the monies that are being used locally for development, for workforce development, are going to the right things. So Christopher from SA Works, if you will raise your hand if anybody's interested in joining the talent pipeline management program and part of that manufacturing collaborative, see him after we're done. And then finally, SAMA, which is, of course, the San Antonio Manufacturing Association. One of the great things they're doing right now, Eliza Battles is leading the activity for the external, it's basically, instead of an internship, it's an externship, where we're bringing teachers and folks from the community into manufacturing. 40% of people aren't going to recommend students or youth to go into manufacturing. Well, we have to fix that. And the way we do that is we make sure the people doing the advising understand how exciting these careers can be. And Eliza, thank you for your work there. And you can see her if you want to talk about SAMA. And of course, we have Ray Chavez, and he is the president and CEO of SAMA, soon to retire, but his service has been phenomenal, and we appreciate his partnership over all these years. So thank you, Ray. We are absolutely bullish on San Antonio and Bexar County. I mean, we've just spent millions of dollars so that we could bring to the new Toyota Tundra. We got one sitting outside, and the new powertrain. We got the iForce Max, which is the hybrid powertrain. And if you didn't know, in a couple months, we're going to be making the Sequoia, and it's a beautiful vehicle if you haven't seen it. So a lot going on, but if I can leave you with one thing, it's that the more manufacturers we can bring to this area, the more we can collaborate to work on these issues as a group together, we can really make this a manufacturing hub for the state of Texas. So thank you.
Round of applause for Suzanne. Thank you both. If you did not tally the numbers, well, both Stephen and Suzanne were speaking. 3,700 direct employees at Toyota, and at capacity 1,200 employees at Navistar. Thousands and thousands of jobs just in our backyard. Please give them a round of applause. So, Suzanne, you touched a lot about the workforce needs, and obviously this is a national issue, if you will, and I'm so glad that you essentially brought the whole Rolodex of workforce for San Antonio. That is really helpful. If you did not know, a little plug really quickly, Texas Fame is a Bexar County program, and they are building their $13 million facility just around the corner right here at Brooks, surrounded by our manufacturing plants. And so the capacity that they are able to host with current students getting certifications will exponentially increase once their facility is nice and open. And so hopefully that, of course, funnels into Navistar and Toyota. Suzanne, if you can kind of paint a little bit of a picture, you touched on it a little bit, but I know being at Brooks, we have Mission Solar here, we have Nisei, we have Cuisine Solutions, all are looking are in the manufacturing industry. And at this point, because it is so competitive, you are often cycling different employees and competing against each other. But you mentioned that it's not necessarily a competition. It's all about the long-term goal of fulfilling all of your needs. Touch a little about that.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Yeah, I am, number one, as I said in the presentation, I believe it's about the long game. It's about touching people. And the first piece of that is, do you know anybody who works in skilled trades? So a lot of young people don't know anybody who is working in a skilled trades organization. So number one, the more manufacturers we have and the more people can connect to somebody they know, he's either a multi-skilled tradesperson or it could be something specific like electrician or a pipe fitter or a millwright or whatnot. That's a connection immediately there with young people. And then in addition to that, if we want resources from, Texas Fame is really looking for external resources from our government partners, from grants, from other things, we have to be able to collaboratively say, what's the gap? What's the need in this area, specifically in San Antonio, so that we can get the funding for those programs. And then, of course, as manufacturers, we can share best practices. Texas Fame started as a Toyota program, actually, in Kentucky at our Georgetown facility. And then after it grew so big, because so many other manufacturers wanted to take part in the AMT program, we handed it off to the Manufacturing Institute, where now it is a program in 13 states. That's about doing something that's working, sharing it, collaborating, and then seeing the bigger picture. So I think that's how we're going to fix our issues.
And Stephen, you touched a little about the direct connections or partnerships that you have with area schools. It is really awesome to see that San Antonio, Texas, and beyond has really embraced that it's not just about going to college, recognizing that we have trades that are very important and they're quality jobs. And so you have direct partnerships with area high schools, and I know that the closest high school, at least to Brooks, even Highlands High School, has a P-Tech program. And so what that means is high school students are essentially graduating with certifications. There was a long perception that if you're going into this industry, you can't make a lot of money. That's not the case anymore. And so when they're starting out certified out of high school, what does that mean for them and the potential for their future?
So you're correct. Shout out to Hector Silva, Assistant Plant Director. He's partnered up and other people at Navistar with Southside High School in their technical program, introducing how can we get part of their curriculum to get them in a place. If they choose after high school, they can come straight into manufacturing. I'm a big proponent. I think, leading by example, you can come in manufacturing, you have tuition reimbursement, they'll pay for your school, put you in a better place long term. So yes, we've had the instructors and teachers over to the plant for plant tours, and we plan on bringing the students over to the plant as well so they can see it firsthand, working with some of their weld instructors and some of the opportunities we have in welding at the plant. So it's a joy to work with Southside High School. It's great people.
Thank you, Stephen, and you can keep the mic. Since you're the newest and probably the most recent, largest employer that we've been able to attract here in San Antonio, if you can take us back to when we were still competing with other cities and states across the country and why you ultimately chose San Antonio, Texas.
So why I chose San Antonio, Texas? One, for opportunity. Just like all the opportunities that we're going to have for the people in the community, it's an opportunity for myself as well. It's kind of like the pinnacle of my career, starting, building trucks with your hand, working hard, putting your head down, getting a degree, a different opportunity as a frontline manager and working your way up through the organization. I can truly say I can relate to every position within manufacturing. I call myself an operation racehorse or a thoroughbred since I'm from Kentucky. But I love it. She's right. It's challenges each and every day. They haven't built a truck plant in North America for Class 6, 7, and 8. It's like 30 years. So I think the last one that was built was in 1991. That was the Renton facility in Washington. So you don't get these opportunities. You get an opportunity to hire a workforce, to build a culture of everything that you've ever learned in your career, to do things right and treat people right. So that opportunity to teach and grow with employees and see their dreams met, you can't pass up on an opportunity like that.
Suzanne, you mentioned that you've been a part of the industry since you were 19 years old. Can you talk a little about the evolution within the industry and more specifically since you've been here in San Antonio?
Well, I will say, as Stephen was talking about Industry 4.0 and paperless plant and connected, that was not the case 30 years ago, for those of you who have been involved. But every day there is so much change and so much excitement with what is out there in regard to technology, but also just for this place in San Antonio, what I find so unique is the people, the passion, and just the positivity of the people that work here in San Antonio. Just an amazing, and it's an amazing city, it's an amazing region in South Texas, and the people are phenomenal. And so when you mix people who approach work with so much positivity, and then all the potential that's happening with new technology related to Industry 4.0 and connected plant and the opportunities, those two things together are just limitless of what we can do at this facility. So, I remember a time when everything was paper, where nothing was connected. When I started my career at Toyota at our Georgetown plant, my shop had 7 computers total. I mean, that was it. And everything was done on paper, and all of our problem solving was done on paper. The fundamentals of how we do things haven't changed, at least in Toyota. We have a very strong culture that we call Toyota Way. But how we execute and the efficiency of problem solving, the amount of data that's out there and available to support problem solving, and as you're moving towards AI, it's phenomenal, and we could have a whole nother luncheon about that. I'm not sure that everybody in the audience would be so interested, though. That's kind of really, really nerdy stuff, maybe.
And one more question for you, Suzanne, and I'll open up to the audience for a couple. Females in the industry, women in the industry. One of my takeaways from participating in the ACE race, which was hosted at the Alamo Dome in January, I think we had 13 high schools. I was blown away by the amount of young women participating in that program, and I shouldn't have been that surprised, but it was a good thing. So talk firsthand, you being a woman in the industry, and now you really seeing that uptick.
Good question. And I will say, we are absolutely, especially with our incoming class of AMTs and the folks that are coming through these very programs that I talked about, female representation is amazing. And, it all comes down to introducing to young people early on that they can do that. That this particular career, which is so rewarding, it's not out of reach for you just because of your gender. But some of that, too, is convincing parents to let their daughters get their hands dirty and to go out and work on those things. For me personally, I'm gonna tell a little story of myself. I went to Japan as an exchange student in high school, and so when I was 16 years old, I decided I'm gonna work at Toyota because I want to go back to Japan. I didn't have any thought for anything else about manufacturing or engineering or any of those other things. It worked out for me. But there certainly were some challenges early on because you would be the only woman in the room. And over my career, you see more and more women entering the workforce. You see more female leaders, people taking positions. And then when you see that, oh, they're doing that, I can do that. I did revert. I spent 2 years living in Japan before I came here. I would be the only woman in the room of like 1,000 people. That was a little overwhelming. But it reminded me of how far we've come, not just within Toyota, but really in North America, in the United States. It's just all about convincing young people that they can do anything they want to do. And if tech is one of those things, then by all means, do it.
Do we have any questions for our speakers, Stephen or Suzanne? Everyone's in vacay mode. Yes. The question was, she's curious about the wages and the ranges in manufacturing.
Stephanie's over here at the table, and so she'll correct me if I'm wrong, but right now, our starting wage for coming right in the door as a production member in our facility is a little over $18 an hour, I believe. And then that can get upwards above $25 an hour or more after so many years of experience. Skilled trades workers, though, are really in a much different pay point. And those folks, I don't remember where we top out. Do you know, Stephanie, Mary? $38 an hour is where you top out. And so there's a starting point, and then after, every so many months, you get a bump in your wages based on where you are. And then, so that's what those entry-level positions are, which basically that that skilled trade is a technician or an apprenticeship program degree is what the requirement is.
Very similar structure at Navistar. We have our hourly team members, or you're either a team member or a team lead. You're starting out a little north of $18 an hour, and you top out a little over 20. That's a team member 1. After you gain a little bit of experience, you go to a team member 2. So then it goes up to close around $22 an hour, and then team leads get a couple more dollars on the hour as well. Our ratio for the team leads to team members in General Assembly, it's kind of intentional given we're launching a brand new greenfield plant. It's about 5 to 1. So you get the team leaders, they really get that sense of ownership of managing a very small group of 5 or 6 people. And then the ratio to supervisors is about 50 to 1. And then business unit managers is about 100 to 1. And then, lucky me, I get all of them.
Thank you. And I just want to, before we give them a round of applause, I do want to recognize the impact that both Navistar and Toyota Motor Manufacturing Texas are making in San Antonio. And not only are they focused on being a successful business, it was very clear from their presentation that they're a part of the community. They have several partnerships reflected, like I mentioned, at their table. They're focused on workforce, starting to build that workforce from high school students. And then, of course, they're focused on just giving back to the community, and so please give them a round of applause for their focus and priorities. Thank you all both for your commitment to South Texas, and we appreciate you'll be here this evening.
Thank you for tuning in to the South Texas Business Podcast, brought to you by the South Texas Business Partnership.